What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and today we talk about UK derbies. Now, I can't do that on my own. It's not fair for me to do it on my own. So I've got some people that you guys really loved during the deadline day watch-along. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to pass you on to my next guest.
Hello, it's me, Holly Agabar again, and I'm great to be back and talking some derbies.
Yep, me, Jacob from Canary Cast. Make sure you go follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking about some derbies today.
Yeah, likewise. Really enjoyed being on the channel before. It's John Manhandle CFC is my Twitter tag. So yeah, looking forward to the show, really.
Yeah, and guys, and you'll remember all of these people for your particular comments about them. So one of you guys, apart from the fact that you had a massive crush on Holly, which was a bit weird because I was hearing about it for days. So Holly, obviously, you all find her hilarious, Spurs fan, says it as it is. You know, got a lot of time for Holly. Then we got Jacob, who is possibly one of the most knowledgeable men on football I've ever met. I mean, I reckon you could throw a football team at him and this man would be able to tell you the day they were formed, the capacity of their stadium, what they serve at half-time, and what ale they've got in the barrels. I mean, this is a man of extraordinary skills. And obviously, you all remember John because you all took the piss out of the sides of his nose. So it's great to have you all back. Thank you ever so much for agreeing to join me. Now, we're talking about Merseyside derbies or derbies, but the biggest one we all know is Merseyside derby, obviously. But we're talking about derbies today. Just in the wake of the Merseyside derby, this is sort of the build-up to the game. Everton against Liverpool, top of the table Everton against fifth in the table Liverpool. It's great to see. So, without further ado, let's talk about the first derby we have on our list. And that derby is the mighty Blackburn against Burnley. Now, I'll give you my point. For me, these go in the bottom two categories because they don't play each other particularly often because they're separated by a league. But when they do play each other, I don't particularly remember anything of note that really scares me. So for me, they're going a good derby. Nothing too ferocious, nothing too aggressive, and nothing too concerning. What do you guys think? Don't all talk at once, for fuck's sake.
It's not one that I can relate much to, really. I'd say, yeah, good. Bottom two categories. It's an interesting one if you're in that part of the world, but there's not much else for people in the rest of the country that really care too much, if I'm honest. That's my penny's worth.
Yeah, it hasn't been a derby for a while either, has it? Like, I can't remember, like you said, I can't remember the last time I actually remember watching it. Like, no. It's an all right game. I think Burnley have a cracking record over Blackburn recently, of what I can remember. Like, Burnley have a stupid unbeaten run going back years, which I can relate to as a Norwich fan with Ipswich. We've been unbeaten against them for like 10 years, so it's been brilliant for that. And the longer you don't play each other, it's actually the better, because you just enjoy being able to mug them off every time they try and mug you off on Twitter. So, yeah, for me, it's good, but I wouldn't say it's one that I'm turning sky on for on a Saturday when it comes back around.
I mean, for me, I ain't really got a clue. So simple as that. It's non-existent for me. It's going to offend some people, but we move on. We move. Right, so that goes in good. Then we'll stick that straight into quiet is actually the category. Quiet. So there you go. Quiet. Suck on that, Burnley and Blackburn fans. Then we move on to Chelsea v Fulham. I think it's fair to let John start with this, John, to be honest. You being the Chelsea fan, mate, you crack on.
Look, I'll be honest with you, not really bothered at all. I mean, the fact that we've just loaned Loftus-Cheek to them, no one really cares. They may be our next-door neighbours, we may be in their patch, but yeah, I mean, Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham, much more exciting for me than that team. Yeah, not really. I don't look at the calendar and go, yeah, we're playing them. Obviously, you look at the big boys and you think, yeah, that'll be a game I'm interested in. But yeah, Fulham, again, we're not always in their league anyway. So yeah, I'd possibly say the same category as Blackburn, Burnley. Not really one I care about, to be honest.
I agree. Just to put that out there, I completely agree. I think it's a quiet game. Yes, it's a derby because it's London, but who actually gives a fuck about Fulham v Chelsea? No one, really. No one. What about you, Holly? Obviously, you are, Spurs fan. You'd obviously say the Spurs derby is bigger, wouldn't you? But Fulham, Chelsea, arsed, not arsed.
Not really. I mean, the fact that we've just been called a big boy, I'll take that. Normally we're not called a big club, so I'll have that. So yeah, I think Fulham, Chelsea, it's not really a game, is it? I mean, let's be honest. Like I said,
brilliant. It's not a fucking game.
It's not a game. It's boring, mate.
Stop playing chess.
No, that is a complicated game. So yeah, the fact that Fulham have only really they go up and down, don't they, quite a lot. So it's kind of the same that they don't really get to play each other much. So yeah, I think it's not really a good derby, is it really? It's a bit boring.
Jacob?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The only thing I can remember about this game was when David Luiz scored an absolute worldie from about 30 yards out. It was an absolute screamer. That's literally the only thing I can remember. Fulham to me are a bit boring club. I'm not really a fan of Craven Cottage or anything like that, really. So yeah, it's a bit, and it's just so uneven. 9 times out of 10, Chelsea win this game. So yeah, it's not. I don't look at that and think, yeah, this is a cracking derby, really.
So is it fair to actually put this in the bottom tier as irrelevant?
Yeah, you can put it bottom tier.
It doesn't sound relevant.
To Fulham for £5 when they used to do it for under 16s, and then I used to sneak it up until I was 18, and I never used to thought, oh, I'm going to Fulham, I better be careful, I'm a Chelsea fan. I used to openly say, yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan, and no one would give two rats arse. So yeah, put it in the bottom tier, bottom of the barrel, mate, bottom of the barrel.
Brilliant. No one would give two rats arse, not one, not a rat's arse. They give two rats arses. Fucking brilliant. We go on to next derby. Manchester United against Leeds. Now, this is obviously, for me, this derby probably goes in the very top tier as hatred. I have never known two clubs despise each other as much as Manchester United v Leeds. However, I will put a caveat on that. They haven't played against each other in a proper derby in the same league. I know they've played in the cup a couple of times, but in the league, in something like 16 years. I'm expecting it to go fucking off. I'm expecting it to go off this year. Jacob, we'll start with you.
Yeah, this is one I'm really looking forward to as well. I know I haven't played with each other for a while, but I think Bielsa is 10 times the manager Solskjaer is. So for me, I look forward to the game. And like you say, I remember when Leeds went and done them 1-0 in the FA Cup when Fergie was still in charge. Yeah, Beckford scored. It was like you say, the hatred is just pure passion. They even play each other in a friendly, a year or 2 years ago in, I think, Sydney. And even the fans they bring there is just incredible. So yeah, top tier for me. And I'm really looking forward to it. You don't really get like the Man U Liverpool, we'll probably talk about that later. Sky always seem to push that so hard, and it's just such a dull game. But this is pure hatred towards both fans. And I think the players will kind of give that out, even in the absence of the fans.
Yeah, agreed. Holly, what do you think?
Yeah, and it's got to be up there. Like you said, we haven't seen it in recent times. So the fact that everybody's going to have pent up anger, I think it's going to be a madness when it's unleashed. I mean, just to slide it in there, do you reckon at the moment the City Man U hatred is kind of at the same level, or would you put Leeds above it? Obviously, I'm guessing you'd put Leeds
is a bigger
above
club.
Ooh.
I'm going to say that Leeds is a bigger, better club. So yeah, I think the hatred's bigger there.
Oh, brutal from Jacob there. Any Man City fans, they're going to fucking turn off the Canary Cat there. He's fucked it there. Jesus Christ. And my man John with a massive hooter. What we think?
My man Michael with the triple chin. Look, at the end of the day, I think, yeah, Man City. the banter will be continuous between me and Mike. Look, I think, yeah, Man City have never been a big club until 10, 15 years ago. So Man United just always won. It was a derby because they were close. But, I mean, if Fulham suddenly became a powerhouse, that derby would probably mean a bit more. And that's probably what's happened with Man United and Man City. So, yeah, Man United Leeds, long hatred. I mean, even Chelsea Leeds, there was back in the day. My dad's not a massive fan of Leeds, and that's nowhere near the derby of Man United Leeds. So, yeah, I think that's got to go top tier, definitely, for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Right, let's stick them in hatred. We move on to another derby that's got a lot of shit around it, and that's Cardiff Swansea. Now, I'm not. I only know this from sort of some Swansea fans and some Cardiff fans, but this derby always goes off. always. But it's between two sets of fans that, I mean this with the greatest respect, they haven't got the biggest reputation for being fucking hard knocks, being, you know, throwing bottles at people and absolutely kicking off. So, although I accept that this is a pretty ferocious derby, I don't think it's got the same level as raw pent-up aggression that Leeds and Man United have. So for me, Swansea going a good derby, Cardiff and Swansea going second category as a good derby.
Yeah, it's like Wales again, though, isn't it? Like Wales out the way. It's like it's not England, is it? Like it's so out of the way, you don't really feel in it. Like they feel like they're a lot more passionate about their rugby. So I'd say it probably teeters on good, because it is good when you watch it. Like you can see there being like proper, and actually the stadiums are full for a change, which they rarely are any other time they play at another team. So yeah, I'd say it is good. Yeah,
we've got the Norwich fan going fucking in.
Our stadium's full all the time. That's why I can say it.
Well, too right. Holly, what's your take on it? Where would you stick them?
I'm not like that too clued up on it, to be honest. You know me, I'm Tottenham through and through. I don't really look at anything else. But yeah, I think from what you guys have said, I kind of take your word on it and say that they're two big Welsh powerhouses, aren't they? So they're going to be both at each other's
in the Championship.
In the Championship, as it is. So yeah, I'll go with you guys and say it's a good derby from the things you've said. So
I think it's fair to say that Jacob, would you probably put them in average rather than good?
Yeah, it's just Wales in general. Like, their love for football is just not the same for rugby, is it? Like, it's just a secondary sport, so it's like a secondary derby. It's just that's how I look at it. Like, I'm probably going to get absolutely bombarded by a load of Cardiff Swansea fans now, but oh well, it is what it is.
It's marvellous. And John, we go over to you, the big resident Chelsea fan.
I'll be honest.
You decide it's either good or average.
Every time one of them got in the Premier League or is in the Premier League, I go, English Premier League? I mean, that's probably a bit controversial, but I don't particularly like them being in. I know there's other teams that are in the English National Football League that are bordering or even in Wales, but I'm not a massive fan of it. I mean, we may as well just let Celtic and Rangers, if they're good enough, playing as well. That's a bit over the line maybe for some people, and a lot of people I speak to don't like that, but I just think not really that fast. I've been to Wales a lot of times. My granddad's a massive Speedway fan, so they always used to do it in Cardiff. And yeah, they don't give a shit about football, I'll be honest with you. It's not the same. Average, maybe only just above the docile Blackburn-Burnley derby, so stick it in the middle.
Yeah,
Slide it in there, Mike.
Brilliant, slide it in, fantastic. Let's not ask your missus too much about that then. Right, now this is the reason you two are here. It's Chelsea and Spurs. I'm going to say fuck all. Off you go.
Ladies first.
Oh. So what are we doing? Tottenham, Chelsea? Oh, wow. I'm really not listening, am I? So, like we've already touched on, two big clubs in London. I can see them already pulling faces, but he said it, so... going at each other, it's pretty much war, innit? You want that battle for who's the best in London. And at the moment, I would have said it's white, but at the moment it's pretty much blue, isn't it? So yeah, it's a battle of ground, basically. The fact that we've already touched on that Fulham aren't really Chelsea's rivals as such, it's a big game. Let's put it that way. The Tottenham Chelsea one.
It's a big game. How much do the fans hate each other?
There's a lot of exchange of words, shall we say, in different kind of perspectives, shall we say, in different kind of ways. So, yeah, it's brutal, shall we say. And obviously, we all know Twitter is pretty much a dungeon when it comes to football Twitter. So, yeah, there's a lot of exchange of words, and it's pretty much if Chelsea win, or if we win and we say, haha, we beat you, it's where's your trophy? So, yeah, it's fun if you're on either side, basically.
What category would you put it in, Holly? Hatred, good, average, quiet, or irrelevant?
I think because obviously our main rivals are Arsenal, I'd probably put it in good, personally.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, Arsenal are the top tier for us.
Manhandled, over to you.
We called it 3 Point Lane for a reason, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I mean, they renamed it. They don't rename the 3 Point Lane. But yeah, I mean, look, since Mourinho went there, I don't mind Mourinho. It just made it a bit more feisty. The fact that we beat them home and away last season was good. I don't hate Tottenham like most Chelsea fans do, but I don't particularly like them. So it is a massive game. I think it's definitely, it's underneath Man United Leeds. It's in the good category. But yeah, I mean, it's one we don't like losing. We had that massive unbeaten record for so long, so many years where we didn't lose and we hardly even conceded really. But yeah, that's obviously come to an end the last 10, 15 years. Spurs have got a lot better and respect for that. Getting to the Champions League final last year, well done. But as we've alluded to, it is still blue for now. You look good this season under Mourinho, and I hope that. And I say I've got a lot of love for Mourinho. I don't want you to finish above Chelsea, but a lot of Chelsea fans will probably shoot me for saying this. But I say Tottenham is a massive game. We want to win, but if you said to me, Liverpool, Everton will say we'd rather beat Liverpool home and away and not be bothered about the league. Maybe you might not say that, Mike, but a lot of fans would. Whereas if we lost to Tottenham home and away and won the Premier League, I wouldn't really care that much because it's all about winning. So yeah, I'm going off subject. Good. It's a big derby. I want to win it. I don't like losing.
I agree on good. I'm not going to say any more. I agree on good. Jacob, what's your take?
No, yeah, I think you're spot on. Like half my family are Spurs fans, so I remember had the long run of Chelsea wins, and it was a lot bigger for Spurs than it was for Chelsea back then. Obviously, Chelsea being far more successful, but since recently 5 years, it's been a little bit more to and fro. I know Chelsea have probably pipped it still in terms of the game and trophies, but it's not as big as Tottenham Arsenal, is it? I think good is spot on, really.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's stick that in good. Now we go on to one that is going to cause such a debate now with any Celtic and Rangers fans. I actually didn't want to talk about this game, but you have to put it in. This is pretty ferocious Rangers Celtic. There's no getting around it. I think every time these two play, there's damage done to the stadiums, there's chairs ripped out, there's damage to the local surroundings. I would probably say it is hatred, really, just because they are such bigger rivals. But it's difficult because I also could possibly border it on good, because I don't necessarily think the games have got as much ferociousness in them as they used to have. When Scott Brown would go up against, I don't know, Alan Thompson, for example, or someone in the Rangers team, and they'd go at it. I don't feel like it's got that bite anymore. However, I'm sitting here happy to be proven wrong, Jacob.
Yeah, I think I know I kind of went in on the Swansea Cardiff, but Celtic Rangers are huge. They are massive clubs. For me, this is one of the biggest ones. I know you said the Frosty might have not gone slightly. I think Morelos is more than capable of getting sent off in a game, and he loves to get sent. I think he's got more red cards against Celtic than he has goals against them. So that kind of stinks. And the fans, like you say, without the fans, it's just not the same. I think it's this weekend, isn't it? It's just not going to be the same because they really hate each other, like you say. And most of the time, the stadium's damaged, and they're two massive clubs, and it definitely, I think, deserves to be in top tier.
Top tier hatred. Fair enough, Holly.
Yeah, it's just hella toxic, isn't it? Really, both on the field and off the field. So it's got to be up there.
Hatred. There you go, John, man.
I can't disagree with any of that. It's massive. Yeah, it's a massive game in Scotland, even in England. I mean, it's always ferocious. Yeah, so stick it in that top bin, Mikey boy. Go on.
Top bin. There we go. But now we've got another Scotland derby. Hearts against Hibberdine.
So who? Hibberdine. Who's Hibberdine? Hibberdine or Aberdeen? Which one?
Yeah, that's it. Hibberdine. Hibs, Hearts against Hibs. They hate each other. I'm just going to say that as it is. They hate each other. But the game hasn't got as much global sort of footprint as Rangers and Celtic because they're just not as big. But the hatred is certainly there. We just possibly don't get to see it so much because of who they are rather than the size of the clubs. What's your take on that, John?
The fact that you mispronounced the name, I think it says a lot for it, my friend. Yeah, I think it's...
I was blinded by your nose.
It's probably worse than... It's not worse. Chelsea, Fulham, it's definitely not that low, is it? I mean, maybe in the middle, maybe... Yeah, middle, or it's in the third or fourth tier. I can't put it any higher just because it's not known enough. I don't know as much about it. So second or third or fourth tier, I'll go with.
Okay, so we're going in average or quiet.
Yeah,
I'm going
not quiet
average
because they say they hate each other, but it's just not that well known. It's not a derby that you pencil in, in your diary, is it? So I don't know what everyone else thinks, but
I think you're spot on, mate. I think average is like you say. If we're living in Scotland or worse Scottish, we'd probably say it's up there. But they're two unsuccessful clubs recently, aren't they? Like Hearts went down, didn't they? Like they're not really strong enough, I'd say, to kind of put any higher than medium, really.
Yeah. Holly, you agree? Average?
Yes, it's not great and it's not bad. So, like you said, the hatred's there. We just don't really know much about it, really.
Fair dues. Right, we're going in average.
Just like you do every day, mate.
Who the hell is? Who's this one?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Is that Bristol City and Bristol Rovers?
Oh wow.
I'll tell you, I'm putting this one in the second bottom category, and the reason for that is I don't quite think it's irrelevant because it's the same city derby. But again, it's one that I never pay attention to. I wouldn't be asked if it was on telly. I know that Bristol City play Ashton Gate. I couldn't tell you where the other one plays, so I'm leaving it at that.
They haven't played each other in ages either, have they? Like Bristol Rovers are.
That's why you're here, Jacob, because you can tell us.
Bristol Rovers, mid-table League One, Bristol City looking upwards in the Championship. I wouldn't say, I can't remember the last time they played each other. The only thing that screams out to me in this kind of game is Ian Holloway, and now he used to manage Bristol Rovers and always kind of gives a dig in at Bristol City. That's about it, to be honest. It's middle, maybe slightly lower.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with quiet for that one. John, you agree?
Quiet. Stick it in the quiet, yeah. Obviously, if you're Bristol, it's a big thing, but outside of that, no.
No. Holly, you agree? Second bottom?
Yeah. I'm not feeling it. Stick it in the bottom.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Now,
I'm surprised you didn't come out with something there, Mike. Come on, she just set you up perfectly, mate.
I didn't even think. Oh,
you know what? She's done it a couple of times here because earlier she was saying up and down, up and down, up and down, and then she's just said stick it in my bottom. Now, I mean,
Mike, I'm disappointed.
It's all right, Holly, don't worry. There's only a load of permeable fans that are watching. I'm joking, for fuck's sake, Blue. Jesus Christ, don't fucking. Right, let's go on to West Bromwich Albion against Wolves, and I can categorically tell you from a person who is local to them teams, I'm 3.5 to 4 miles away from West Brom, and I'm about 9 miles away from Wolves. They do hate each other with a passion. I think the issue you've had in recent years is that they've missed each other in the league. Wolves are in League One at one point. Albion were in the Premier League. They sort of crossed over very quickly. Wolves ended up being in the Premier League, Albion in the Championship. This game, they do hate each other, but it hasn't got the same gravitas as Celtic, Rangers, Man United, Leeds. So for me, I stick this game in good. It's a good derby. It's an aggressive derby. It's entertaining derby. But it's one that I just don't think loads of people are that bothered about.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think I'd say personally, I prefer watching Birmingham Villa. But then I don't know if that's as like they might both say I'm completely wrong. I just remember, the Birmingham fan coming on and trying to knock Grealish out. So like, there's hatred there. But yeah, I'd say it's good. Like they're both good football clubs, and Midlands is obviously a well-populated area. And yeah, they are passionate. There's no fake fans there, is there? So yeah, it's good. I'd say.
Cool. Okay, Holly.
Yeah, one of my best mates is a Wolves fan, and the thing she says about those guys, it's not repeatable. So yeah, I'd say it's a good one.
just to let you know, Holly, anything is repeatable on this channel. Anything. Absolutely anything. Just ask John and his massive fucking hooter.
See, you've written all the nose jokes. You've forgotten about all the other content. You need to diversify. Come on, Mike.
Brilliant. That's it. Give it to me, John. Give it to me before Harley jumps in and says about bottoms.
I can't. The live sign is actually covering your head, so I can't actually comment about your hair today, mate. So
yeah, let me help you out there.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's not looking as shit as normal. Fair play, mate.
You're having a laugh. It's because it's greasy. Right, come on then.
I'd stick it. Yeah, good. I mean, Midlands. I've been to one of these games and it is a bit feisty. Yeah, I'd stick it in good. It's a bit more hatred than others, but it's not enough as want to cut and throw each other. They'll punch each other on the pitch. That's it.
Right. Now we move on to a really interesting derby here. A derby that I'm sure the three of us know loads about. Jacob, you're going to have to guide us on this, to be honest, because I know Norwich and Ipswich hate each other. But again, it may suffer with the same issues as some of the teams lower down here, that it's not something you get to see all the time. So off you go.
Yeah, like I feel I'm going to have to defend this one because I imagine you guys are probably a bit like, it matters,
average,
but we're so far away. Yeah, we're so far away from everything else, it just doesn't matter. The only thing is, like, this was the whole of East Anglia. This is two of East Anglia's biggest rivals. I'd say recently it's not as fierce simply because, like I said earlier, we haven't lost to Ipswich in about 11 years, and
both teams are shot.
Yeah, and it's been brilliant. Like every game, I'm 22, so I can't really remember a time when we lost to Ipswich, which is bloody brilliant. But they always bring out the whole, we won the league, we won the cup back in the 60s, which to me,
do that.
yeah. And like, to be fair, boys, you haven't been in the Premier League this very early this century, so come on. For me, it's huge, obviously, as a Norwich fan, but I can see you guys would probably say it's a bit lower, but it's massive in terms of the popular area. There's no one else in East Anglia for us to have a go at. So
can we agree then? Bearing in mind, you would put it in hatred, I would put it in average.
Okay, so meet in the middle.
Meet in the middle on good, as long as Holly and John agree. Is that fair, Jacob, or do you want to punch me in the face repeatedly? Your choice. I'm easy.
No, I do respect your opinion, man. Especially we played each other in the playoff semi-finals 5 years ago, and that did get feisty. There was police on the pitch, all that sort of thing. So it's a big game. We do hate each other, but Norwich and Ipswich fans are probably quite well known for not being that aggressive anyway. We're quite laid back around here. So, but yeah, no, it does get feisty, to be fair. I'd say I can agree with good, yeah.
Okay, John?
I have a lot of family. All my mum and dad are from Norwich. I go Norwich, or Norfolk, shall I say, quite often.
I was going to say, because you look like Darren Huckabee.
What? Maybe. No, look, I'm aware of the rivalry. I think it is a little bit feisty. I don't think, if Norwich lost at Ipswich, I think there would be a big issue. I think Norwich would be upset, and the next game would be a massive one. But yeah, they're not always in the same division. They are at the moment, aren't they? Yeah, they are at the moment. So
Ipswich
for me,
are they? Oh, crap. Yeah. Keep them down there, mate.
That's how crap Ipswich are. I'm going to be on Norwich side, obviously.
That's all we'll agree with, mate. We'll just say Ipswich is shit and move on.
Yeah. So look, I think it's for someone that's a bit more relatable, that isn't in that area. I think it's teetering on good to average because it's not, as I say, that well known, but. Yeah, I want to swing for average just because they haven't played each other enough in the last 20 years. If you ask anyone else, obviously I'm a bit more knowledgeable, but a lot of people would. If I ask some of my mates in London, they'd go, "Huh?" So that's why I want to say good.
But are they Spanish?
Half of them wouldn't even know what's. I forgot Ipswich were in League One, and that is how. Come on, yeah. If they're both Premier League, I think it'd be a lot bigger. That's why I want to lean towards average, just for think the entire
that's my issue. To be honest, that is my issue. The fact you don't get to see it enough.
Yeah, it's. So that's why I'd tend to go average. I'm going to have to be. Yeah, I have to say that.
Okay. So it's 2-1, Jacob. Average. Holly.
Pressure.
You love it.
Going from someone that doesn't have a clue I'm the person that doesn't have a clue about this fixture. I'd have to go average, just because I don't really know about it. That's probably a poor
there you go.
Respect.
Oh, it's a killer. It's a
sorry.
I get why someone in Norwich would be upset about it, but it's yeah. You're better than them. There's no need to worry. It's fine.
No, that is the thing. There hasn't actually been a rival recently because, like I say, we've been unbeaten so long. So it hurts me to see it. But...
If I could stick it there, I really would.
Yeah,
I would.
yeah.
But I can't. Right, we move on to the other London derby, Tottenham against Arsenal. Game that lots of us know. I would say it's a very good derby. I don't necessarily know if there's a massive hatred, but that's probably because I'm not from Arsenal or Spurs. So the resident Cockneys here can probably give us more of a little bit of an opinion here. I'm going to start with you, John.
Me, you're interested.
Well, you look from the inside, don't you, as a Chelsea fan? So both of these teams are rivals.
Yeah. For me, that is the biggest London derby. You know, West Ham like to think West Ham Tottenham is, and don't get me wrong, West Ham Tottenham is massive. You know, being a non-Tottenham or West Ham fan, but I've been to Tottenham Arsenal, I've been to Tottenham West Ham, I've been to Tottenham Chelsea, and the most feistiest one was definitely Tottenham Arsenal. They don't want to lose to each other at all. All of my Arsenal mates hate Tottenham. All of my Tottenham mates hate Arsenal. So I think you've got to stick it in the top bin, mate. Just because every game, and there's always something happening. You know, last year, when Lacazette put it top corner, and then Tottenham, they fought back and it's 2-1, wasn't it?
Don't know.
Am I right?
I don't know.
Am I right, Holly?
There's no Arsenal fans here.
So I can't remember. Everything's happened so quick.
Holly slept since then,
I
John.
don't even bloody know anymore.
So I'd say stick it in the top. I'm pretty sure. I've got a lot of Arsenal mates, and every single one of them dislikes Tottenham. Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure Alderweireld. It was on the Mourinho documentary. I think it was 2-1.
Okay,
top tier.
How bad is that, man? I don't even know.
I'm cool to stick it in that tier, just so you know. I'm cool with it. I'm happy to be guided. Good or hatred for me, I'm cool with. Holly, how much do you hate Arsenal?
We've already spoke about it.
Do you hate them?
Worse than anything on the planet. Not gonna lie.
Do you hate them all?
I hate them. I don't know. I just hate them.
Do you refer to them as the shite?
The shite, yes, with a capital S. That's what I name them and brand them as. No, jokes aside, I detest them, really. The fact that we're so close in proximity, the fact that I think it's got better now. I'm not going to say this is big-headed, but I think the levels in the game has risen because obviously Tottenham have got a bit better. I say a bit, I mean a lot. So the rivalry is a lot higher now in the game as well as off the pitch. So yeah, it's got to be out there.
Is that because Spurs are better than Arsenal?
It's got to be out there. Of course.
Fair.
I mean, I think we did win because I remember getting heavily drunk.
Brilliant. You've ticked all of the Everton fan boxes here, Holly. You're in real trouble.
That's spot on game, mate. Like I say, Spurs family that I know, it's like when Chelsea win the league, they're annoyed. If Arsenal won the league, they would be fuming. Like Holly said, the levels are a lot more even now, aren't they? So it's actually a better game. There's always goals as well. I swear Spurs always bottle a 2-0 lead. It goes to 2-2, and then one wins it either way. But yeah, definitely top tier. They both can't stand each other.
Fair enough. Okay, top tier. I've stuck them in. Right, let's move on to the next one, which is Derby against Forest. Yes, they hate each other, 100%. They absolutely hate each other. And I would possibly say that this is up there with the most aggressive derbies in the country. These kick off. This isn't just like one or two punches. This is like absolute brutality. It's fine. This is Green Street Part 3. This is. I stick them in good. The reason they're not in hatred is because you don't see. They're in the Championship. It's not like you're going to clock in and see the games on a Saturday afternoon. They will show these games on Sky. Obviously, it probably will be on Sky. But it's usually on like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. It's not like a weekend game that you sort of get up for as a football fan. Whereas I'd happily watch Man United Leeds, Rangers Celtic, Tottenham Arsenal as a neutral. Whereas this game, I know it's massive. I know they hate each other, but I wouldn't necessarily watch it. So for me, I stick it in good. Holly?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think, like you said, it's not one you can really get up for because it's normally midweek, isn't it? So, yeah, I'd have to agree. Stick it in good. We know the hatred's there. We just obviously don't see it as much because of the weekday thing.
Over to the lads.
I think the barometer we should kind of use is, are they going to put all the televised games at 11:45, 12:45 to stop people getting massively drunk and aggressive? All those three that are top tier right now are in that category because they're so worried, the police, about stuff going on. With Nottingham Forest Derby, do they do that? Not so much because they're not as worried. So that's why it goes in good for me.
Absolutely fucking brutal there.
Woo! I'm on
Jesus
fire,
Christ.
mate. I just thought of that and I was like, I've got to get that out.
I'm going to have the fucking channel shut down. Jacob, where do you stick it?
I'd say...
Sorry, Mike. Come on, Mike. Come on.
You're cheeky, man.
I'd have to put it top, simply because of the Clough thing, you know? Both clubs had such and they always argue about which one Clough preferred, which one Clough was better with. And they're both huge clubs. I think if this was in the Prem, we'd be saying this is huge. But like you say, in the Champ, it's not as easy to see. Obviously, I'm a bit more of a Championship person because Norwich like to yo-yo up and down. I'd put it top, but I can see what you're saying. Probably second tier is probably best.
Okay, fair dues. We'll stick it in second tier just because you've been outvoted. But again, do see it.
It was such an eloquent answer I gave. I thought, that was pretty fair.
Where's your face gone? Like, all I see now is a circle.
No, I'm here. I'm just getting my phone charged. I don't want to go offline like I did last time.
Brilliant. Well, you could go offline. Holly did she come back?
No.
Yeah,
we move on to Newcastle, Sunderland. Jacob.
I think this is big. Like from Norwich Ipswich, I was saying it's the only part of the country. This is like that, but bigger. Like I just remember the Di Canio knee slide when they beat them 3-0, and they do obviously they can't stand each other. I know they haven't played each other in a while, so that's maybe why you say good. But then I'd say this is top tier for me simply because of the size of the club, really. But I can see why you would say good as well.
Yeah, for me, I'll stick it in good. But if Sunderland were a Premier League side and not League One, and they've struggled to get out of, they've dropped down 2 divisions. It doesn't really look like they're going to come up anytime soon either, which is concerning for a club that's got a stadium that can hold 52,000. Is it? I think at the stadium a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, it goes into good. But if they were Premier League, it would go top tier, no problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Holly.
I think I'd have to agree. Also, because obviously I live in the south, with the thing I find the most interesting is that I think at the moment Portsmouth and Sunderland have quite a big rivalry in the fact that they keep playing each other in cups and in games and things. So for me, from an outsider not really knowing too much about the Newcastle Sunderland thing, I'd have to say there's quite a big rivalry between Portsmouth and Sunderland. As weird as that sounds, because they're opposite ends of the country. But just putting a spanner in the works there. But in terms of Newcastle and Sunderland, I'd have to say it was good. If they were in the Prem, obviously, it would be that top tier.
Fair dues. Manhandled CFC.
Yeah, I've actually been to this game and it was quite feisty. It's one that they do look forward to. But it's for the rest of the country, it's not massive. So I think good, just about. I think, they look forward to it, and it is a big match. And as I say, that is one of the ones maybe that is on teetering because of the pub rule. They always do that early because they're worried that something's going to kick off. So I think it's like the Norwich one. If we could do it in between, I think we would. But I think it goes into good.
Fair dues. I shall stick that into good. And I can't argue with that either, by the way. I do think... I think if Sunderland were in the Prem, I think it would be a top tier.
Yeah.
Definitely.
West Ham Millwall. now this is hatred and aggression on another level.
Yeah, this is nasty. This is nasty.
But again, this is a game that I think, because it's been glorified by the movies. Now, I get the fact that they hate each other. I 100% do. And to be honest, when Everton went down to Millwall and played in the cup, Everton fans had a right. You know, they kicked a lot of Millwall fans' heads in, which I don't agree with violence, by the way. I'm just saying, there's a picture of Everton fans outside one of their biggest pubs, and there must have been 1,000 Everton fans outside it. You know, it's scary image. Millwall don't have the same image that I think they had maybe 5 years ago, because their chairman's come out and been very active on trying to resolve that image, trying to say it's a family club. And actually, I've got a lot of time for Millwall as a result. West Ham, equally, not the same side that they was. But because of the films and the raw aggression that is definitely in this game, whenever they play each other, you're expecting red cards, you're expecting absolute carnage. I'm going against my own point here about a team that's in the Championship against a team that's in the Premier League and they don't play each other. This goes in hatred for me. This goes in top tier, because I think as a UK football fan, I would watch this game if it was on telly. That's my opinion. We're going to go to we'll go to John, because he completely disagrees with me. I can tell by his nose twitching.
I have to do that so you can see what I'm thinking. Look, I think that I live in Peckham, which is 10 minutes from the ground in Millwall. Now, when they play, or when you hear that name Millwall, you associate violence. And I know the films haven't helped with that. But when you think of racism, when you think of violence, Millwall is one that crops up instantly. And they can try as you like, but it's very hard to get rid of that. And yes, they are doing better. And I've got friends that go to Millwall and they say, yes, it is more family friendly, but there is still the violence associated with it. So West Ham, they're notorious as well. I think I'd possibly say West Ham, Tottenham's bigger for them because, they're normally in the same division. But yeah, I mean, that is pretty bad in terms of hatred for me, West Ham, Millwall. But because they're not in the same division, I think it's got to go as good. I can't put it in the top tier because they don't play each other enough. And West Ham have other derbies that are a bit more interesting. Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea. So I think as much as they hate them, West Ham, and Millwall likewise, they just have other priorities, West Ham. So that's why good.
Let's go to Holly.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think it's because it's not really relevant anymore, if that kind of makes sense. Like, how often do they play each other? And like we've already touched on, Tottenham, West Ham, they're pretty much in the same league every year, aren't they? So, yeah, for me, we can see the hatred's there. I mean, it does flare up when they do play. I don't know whether we can maybe bend the rule to stick it in top tier just because of that. I don't really know. So it's borderline for me. I can't really decide.
Fair enough, Jacob.
Yeah, I think
it's 2-1 against me here. So look, whatever way you're going,
I think I've got to agree with you, simply for the aggression. Like you say, as soon as you say West Ham Mill, I'm thinking, yeah, this is getting naughty here, like it's getting dirty. Like you say, it hasn't been played in a while and all that sort of thing, but it is proper top level. Like, this gets nasty. I went to Millwall a couple of years ago. We got battered by them, and those fans are still aggressive. And you see them outside, and you would not want to mess with them, no matter what they say about community club. They even like the walk down to Millwall, you'd still be like, you need to be careful here, because Norwich fans don't take aggression that well, and they're aggressive even when they spanked us 4-0. I would put it top tier, simply just, yeah, I think both clubs, the hatred there puts it just to that top level for me.
I haven't got a coin.
Well, you're the host. You have the deciding vote, young man.
I know, but I hate doing it like that. Well, if I toss a coin, I would put it in the middle of hatred and good then, but based on the fact,
isn't it,
yeah, based on the fact, I'm going to stick it in hatred just because it evens it out then. And then we move on to the reason this video is happening. A derby that has been played over 220 times in English football. I think it's the most played derby in I think it might even be world football. It's Everton against the shite. I refuse to say their name. So that sort of puts this in a category of where we are. I absolutely despise this football team with all of my heart. So for me, this goes in hatred. And the reason for that is I hate the fan channels that they've got on YouTube. I think they're shite. some of the fans. And I'm saying some of the fans because, every football club has got dickhead fans. This club just seemed to have quite a lot of them. I put it in top tier, and especially now coming into this game, Everton being top of the league, Liverpool being behind us, just adds a little bit extra spice. Dominic Calvert-Lewin being player of the month as well. Carlo Ancelotti being manager of the month. Everton are flying. As a football club, we are flying. But as a pragmatic overview, the hate for this club between Everton and Liverpool, the violence that occurs, the vandalism that happens on usually Everton property, but I am going to say that being biased. I hate this football club. I would also put a caveat there. Whenever Everton and Liverpool have had to come together, they have. Hillsborough, we support each other 100%. The death of Reece Jones, it's very famous that Liverpool walked out to Z Cars that night in the Champions League game in front of millions of people. It's still something that I massively respect Liverpool Football Club. But, the shite, it goes in hatred for me. I will be guided by you three.
Whoa! No, this is oh God.
I'll let you go.
I was just gonna say, it's a huge game. It's even I'll watch it no matter when it's on. I think, like I said, I don't think it's pushed as much. I know obviously it's on the telly, but for me, I look at Sky every single preview when Man U Liverpool play. They try and force it a lot more than what it is. I think if you ask any fan, Liverpool or Everton, they say that's their game for them. So for me, that's 100% top tier, no question.
Yeah, I think. For me, look, you're going into this game, and I think there's a lot more expectation this year. Other times, as I've alluded to in a joking way, that you'd rather beat them home and away than win the league. But look, it is a massive game. Yes, the hatred is there, and Liverpool, they've won the Prem, they've won the Champions League, they've totally outdone. I can see you smiling, Mike. Is it because I said Liverpool, or the fact that they've won recently? I'm just saying stuff that you and your viewers don't want to hear. I know it's horrible, mate, but they have done it. So I think it's definitely hatred. There's no way about it. There's no way going on. It can't be in any other tier, in my opinion. But, and this is not me playing to the viewers, I do hope you do Liverpool, because Leeds and Villa have shown how it's done. Chelsea, my club, we didn't have the balls, we didn't have the nous to attack the fullbacks, to attack the higher line, to attack the space in behind. And I really hope Liverpool, do get taught a lesson by you guys, because, they are the bigger club. As sad as that sounds as an Everton fan to you, Mike, but you are closing the gap this year in the signings and you've made in the terms of a manager that you've got. And I really hope you go from, and I really hope you demolish them. Not that I hate Liverpool, just because it will make the league a little bit more interesting for you to continue your run and to expose them for what they are, which is their wing backs are not good defensively. And someone needs to start teaching them a lesson. That's me being bitter that we lost 2-0 on a limb. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Holly?
It's definitely hatred, and for me, even though I've got no connections to Liverpool, Everton, I can't stand Liverpool, so it would be nice if you could, like we've said, teach them a lesson and just bring them down a couple of pegs. They're infuriating, especially their fans. Not all of them, just the select few, shall we say.
We talk from hate, from pain, because Champions League final loss. That we've lost to them in big games recently. It's not nice. I mean, screw them, Mike. I'm on your side. I hate Liverpool.
Exactly.
Fucking hell. Right, moving swiftly on before John sort of smashes his table to pieces. We're going to start with you here, Holly, because it's Portsmouth, Southampton. Obviously, the areas well. Where does this go? For me, this goes in average. I absolutely know they hate each other. Every time I've been to Southampton and Portsmouth, they see it exactly as I see Everton and Liverpool. But I think the fact that they don't play each other very often doesn't help them here. But arguably, you could say that Portsmouth are the biggest club, although they are 2 divisions or 3 divisions below them. So it's difficult. Where are you starting?
It is very difficult. I mean, I I sadly live in Eastleigh, which is an SO postcode, and I can't stand Southampton. But my boyfriend's from Portsmouth, and when I got introduced, I was known as SO. I didn't live in Southampton, but because I had an SO postcode, that was it. I was off, basically. So it's something that obviously, because it's down here, not many people obviously know much about. But when they played each other, I think it was in the FA Cup, it was carnage, basically. When Portsmouth play, the whole city goes into lockdown. But when they played Southampton, that was it. I think the whole of Hampshire police were sent to Portsmouth just to stop the fighting. So from a personal perspective, I think it's massive, but I can also see why many people think it's probably average or good, because they don't really play each other very much anymore. And I agree that Portsmouth is the bigger club. A lot of my friends are going to hate me for that, but I think it is. That stadium's always packed. So yeah, it's a tough one, but I'd have to stick it good or average, basically.
Over to you, boys.
Oh, it's a tricky one. I think Pompey are a huge club. I've got a couple of family members who are Pompey fans, so they'll enjoy me saying that. Yeah, obviously they don't play each other that much. I would put it good though. Like Holly said, I think I remember the game when they played each other, and it was aggressive. And I think Harry Redknapp managed both clubs, didn't he? And like the death threats he got from that just alone was like, wow, okay, these two really do hate each other. So I put it in good. But yeah, unfortunately, if this was again in the Prem, this would be, I think, on another really good level to watch.
John?
I echo everything. Yeah, I've been down there a few times, and I've been to especially Bournemouth as well, that kind of part of the world. But yeah, I'd say good. I don't know loads about it, but I know that it is feisty. So I'm happy that you've all clicked it there before I finished talking, Mike.
You just, as soon as you said it, it was going in there.
I'm joking. Yeah, it's definitely going in there. You get it in there, son.
Palace
Brighton. Palace Brighton.
Palace Brighton. Now this is a derby that I appreciate is really brutal between both sides, but I personally don't get why. I don't understand why. Mikey. I'm hoping you can explain this to me. For me, and I'm going to be really brutal here. To me, this goes in Palace. This goes in irrelevant, because I don't even think it should be a derby. So that's me ruled out before we even start here. So over to you guys.
Oh, there's a lot of. I mean, being in London, and obviously Palace is, I don't know, 25 minutes from me. South London, they say, which hardly is. But look, they don't like each other. One of my good friends is a Palace fan, and he absolutely despises Brighton. And again, that's one of those games that's on early because they know there's going to be violence. Brighton and Palace are the two biggest clubs that are nearest to each other, which is why it's a rivalry. They hate each other. They don't like playing each other, and when they do, they just want to beat each other, and they want to beat each other off the pitch as well. So I think it goes into at least good. So I think you've done it a disservice, Mike, being the Brummie that you are. Yeah, I think it's a big game for Palace and Brighton fans, and it's one that's always on the telly as well, which is normally a sign that it is quite a feisty one.
Fair enough. Okay, so we've got good, I've got irrelevant. Holly?
For me, obviously, I don't really know too much of the history behind it. I know, like we said, it's on telly all the time. For me, I'd probably have to go maybe average to good. I don't really know, like I said, too much about it. I mean, there's fights and things, but isn't that like generally every derby, really? So I'd have to go average.
Fair dues. Jacob?
Yeah, I never personally got why they are such huge rivals, but when you do watch it, like, they hate each other so much. I remember like Will Zaha scoring and absolutely taunting the Brighton fans, which was funny from looking at it. I guess Brighton fans would probably hate me on that, but it was hilarious. Yeah, I think it's good simply because just the passion you see it. And like you say, normally like Brighton, Palace are not mid-table Premier League clubs. You wouldn't see it on telly if there wasn't the hatred that there is obviously there between the two clubs.
So this is going in good then, guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. Manchester City, Manchester United. So we spoke about this one very briefly at the start of this. I think, was it you, Jacob, that made that point that Man City have grown and it's like that? I disagree. Only because Manchester United are not the club that they once were. Old Trafford is notoriously quiet. Man City very rarely sell out. I would say that the Man City fans are probably more of the die-hard ones because they've seen Man City be shit for years before the last 10 years. But it's really difficult for me to go. So for me, I'll put this in average. It's a derby, and it's a derby between two of arguably England's most successful clubs against one of England's most financially backed, potentially successful clubs. But for me, there's just nothing to this game. I'm just not asked. I wouldn't be asked about watching it. So for me, it's average, but I'm probably giving it a disservice. Holly?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, Man United have come down a few pegs, shall we say, just at the expense of what's happened to them, and obviously what's happened to City. But
to the expense of Everton. Everton.
But like to the expense of what we've been saying, that the fact that they're in the Premier League, they play on a regular basis, and that kind of thing, I'm like, maybe it's a good derby. I don't really know, but what we've said about obviously United and Leeds has kind of shown me that actually, yeah, okay, maybe this City and Man United rivalry isn't really at its peak or where it should have been or where it should be, with the extent of how good the clubs have been in the past and are now. So yeah, I'd probably have to go maybe average or good again.
I can see John twitching. I can see him twitching, his eyes going and everything. Come on then, give it to us, John. Why is this in hatred?
No, I wouldn't say it's in hatred because, look, if we look at the history of it, Man City have always been the weaker team. Man United have always been doing them every single year. And, if Man City won, it was a big occasion. But yes, they've got a lot better. The rivalry's got a lot worse because now Man City are winning titles and Man United, as we said, a few pegs down. The fact that you didn't mention the 6-1, Holly, I'm disappointed. I thought you had a little gloat.
Oh no, I'm not with it today, am I? I'm not with it.
But look, for me, it's teetering between good and average for me, just because of the proximity, the fact that they don't like losing to each other, the fact that it's not that violent. Man United Liverpool is definitely a bigger one for both clubs. Obviously, excluding Everton and Liverpool. So yeah, I think it's teetering good to average. If you put it in average, I wouldn't slap your face, Mike. But I probably would slap your face normally just because I fancy it. So yeah, I'd stick it in average, Mike.
Brilliant. Jacob?
Yeah, I think for United, there's bigger games, isn't there? And like you say, it was that time where just before Fergie retired, where it was big because they were both top two, weren't they? And now it's just a bit like City just dominate it. So I wouldn't say on the pitch it's really that big a deal. Average or good. I wouldn't be too fussed if it went in average, really.
There we go. Well, based on the fact that none of us are asked where it goes, I'm going on average. We've got three left. So we'll speed through these three because there's only really, well, actually, they've all got a bit on them. Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday. It's an interesting derby, but they haven't played each other in, is it 3 years now? There is a little bit of history. There's a little bit of violence. But for me, this goes in average. The last time I watched this game was on a Wednesday night. So that whenever I think it's going on a Wednesday night, I think average. So I stick it in average. Does nothing for me. I'm not asked. I'm sure it's aggressive locally. One city, two teams. I get all of that, but I don't think anyone else is bothered. But you guys could prove me wrong here. Jacob, you know more about the Championship. You fucking tell us, mate.
Yeah, again, mate, I've watched it more than you guys, simply because, like you say, in the Championship, it is a big deal. Chris Wilder loves to really piss Sheffield Wednesday fans off. And as, a Sheffield United guy, the Sheffield United fans obviously love him more for taunting that. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's good because of the side. Again, they're both big clubs, and Sheffield Wednesday's huge for me. I think they're a sleeping giant, really. I don't know if they'll ever get fully up there again, but yeah, I would say good, but I wouldn't dispute average for outside of that circle. It's not a must watch, is it?
John?
Yeah, it's just Sheffield derby, proximity wise. Yeah, I mean, I'd teeter even between average and quiet because I don't watch that game. I'm not that fussed. So it's I get why you put it in any of the three middle categories, but yeah, it's
a game you're not asked about any.
if one of them was a bigger club, I think it would. If Sheffield United really go on now, and then somehow Sheffield Wednesday managed to get in the Premier League, then it would be bigger. But for me, it's bottom end of average. I'd probably stick it in average. Yeah.
Fair enough, Holly. Average.
Yeah, it's not a bit of me, so I'd stick it in there. It's done it again.
Not a bit of me. Brilliant. Not a bit of me, so stick it in. Brilliant. There you go. Fuck's sake.
One international break and I've gone to pot.
It really ruins everything, doesn't it? It really does. Jeez.
It does.
Villa against Birmingham City. I can tell you, this goes. Well, I'll tell you where I put it. This goes in top tier for the same reason that Millwall and West Ham do. They haven't got a film about it. That's why it's never been glorified as much. But I'm telling you now, when Villa and Birmingham City play, the city of Birmingham is an absolute fucking war zone. A few years ago, I think it was Blues fans that smashed all the windows and everything on the Villa shop. I think 2 years before that, Villa did the same. I remember one story where someone took a shit in the toilet at Villa and smeared it up the it's horrific, this derby. So for me, I stick it in top tier hatred. You've got fans running on the pitch to smack the Villa captain in the face. Goes in hatred for me. But Holly, where does it go for you?
Pure hatred. I've played at Birmingham and you can see how close the stadiums are. So with proximity-wise, a kind of like Arsenal-Tottenham thing, I can kind of relate to it. So, yeah, hatred. Pure hatred.
Lads?
I trust your instincts, both of you. I agree. It's always a bit of a tasty one, so stick it in that top bin, Mikey boy, pending Jacob's answer.
No, yeah, I completely agree with all of you. Yeah, it's a big derby. They're both big clubs, aren't they? And like you say, just that fan running on and trying to smack Grealish kind of sums it up with the hatred that they just despise each other. Yeah, for me, yeah, definitely top tier. Stick it in there.
There we go.
Grealish dealt with it really well, though, to then score as well. I mean,
the winner was brilliant, yeah.
I mean, could you have made that any better? You scored and you go up to them, you'd just be like, I'm on how much money? You punch me in the face, you... Oh, whatever. That was quality from Grealish.
I love how you didn't refer to him as a cunt there, John.
No, I didn't say the C word, Mike. I'm not that sort of man. Come on.
Oh, I would. No problem. And we move on to a game that, look, I'm not going to talk about this too much because I hate both teams in this. So it's Man United and the shite.
The shite.
I'll put them in hatred. They do hate each other. They've got this massive rivalry over league titles. Fair enough. All of that shit. I think it goes in top tier. Over to you.
Yeah, they're both huge clubs, isn't it? And like you say, the titles thing kind of gives it a bit more gratification. Like, it's not two mid-table clubs kind of squabbling for rights. It is big titles, big trophies. Yeah, I think it is top tier because they are both huge. I know Everton fans don't like me saying that, but yeah, it is. It's top tier.
I'm going to say they're both wimps, though. As a set of fans, they're both wimps. They've got nothing. They've got no meat.
There's plenty of meat on you to go around, Mike. Give it to someone. Look, all I'd say is stop comfort eating in the international break, Mike. Come on.
Brilliant.
Look.
And all I would say is lick your mum, John. Lick your mum.
My nose is good enough. I can put my tongue on my nose. You probably can't because you've got a small little nose. And look, I think big hatred. Two big clubs. Fergie would be, if he had passed away, he'd be turning in his grave the fact that Liverpool got the title last year. So, yeah, look, they're both big clubs. Fergie did a massive job to make that even tasty because he knew that was one way to really instigate. So, yeah, it goes straight into hatred for me, pending Ollie's answer.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Stick it in hatred.
And there we go. And we have done it. Our 25-minute to half an hour video has just took an hour and 5 minutes. Guys, thank you ever so much for coming on to the Blue Boys Network as always. Guys, make sure that you go onto these channels. I'll put the description in the link. Make sure you go and subscribe to them. I don't know what John's doing about his, so I'll decide whether that description goes in or not because John can advise me on that. But Jacob from the Canary Cast, thank you.
Cheers, Holly, mate. Appreciate it. Been great.
Holly from Hollie Akumba. Have I got it?
Oh, you nailed it. I love it. Well done, thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers for having me on again. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, guys, it's been absolutely fantastic. So appreciate it. And John, how did you find that?
Always fun coming on, having the banter. Look, I've said it when I came on last time. Great channel, really enjoy this. Banter but great opinions.
And it's muted, guys. It's been an absolute.
You're a cheeky bit. Look, thanks for having me on. It's been good fun, and I hope I see some nose jokes in the comments. I'm looking forward to them, and I'll come on any time to talk about Everton, Chelsea, and about Liverpool, your favourite club, Mike. So yeah, thanks.
Brilliant, guys. We're leaving it there. Thank you ever so much for watching another channel. This video is out. Another channel. Oh, God. I'm finished. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching again. Thanks ever so much. Make sure you subscribe to all these guys. And yeah, we're building up to the Everton-Liverpool game. Obviously, it's a huge game, certainly for Everton. And it's going to be a big game for Liverpool as well. They've just come off the back of a 7-2. It would only be right for me to ask for score predictions from you as we're here. We're building up to our game. So I'm not going to give mine. Obviously, I've got a match preview to do. So we're going to start with Holly. Everton against Liverpool, Goodison Park, Saturday, 12:45 kickoff. What is the score?
I mean, just to make everyone happy, if I say 8-2, is that allowed to Everton? Can I say that?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
There we go then. That's my prediction.
8-2 from Holly. John?
It's a tough one because Liverpool know this is a game they can't afford to lose because it will really hurt them. But Everton have looked really good. Ancelotti's had 2 weeks to prepare. I'm going to be conservative and say 1-1, just because we will see a better Liverpool than we did against Villa.
And that's muted again.
Yeah, look, I want Liverpool to lose. As I said, I want them to be done. And come on, you Blues means I can shout for Chelsea and Everton. Look, I hope 2-1 Everton, but my head says 1-1, as much as that was.
Jacob?
I'm going to say it's difficult. If Mane and Thiago are back, I'm guessing they're not because of the whole Corona thing. Then Everton have a cracking chance. I'd love to see Everton do over Liverpool because the whole Liverpool thing with Jamal Lewis, they kind of showed they're a bit shitty with the way they do deals, and their fans were not great.
Shitty in general, Jacob. They're shitty in general.
And I'd love to see Everton win just to kind of put the cats amongst pigeons again and see Liverpool, because like we were saying earlier, Liverpool are vulnerable at best, and it's just not being exploited enough. Teams are too scared to have a go at them. I don't think Everton will be. I'd love to see them kind of exploit that in behind. For me, it'll be 1-1. That's what I'm going to say. 1-1.
Brilliant. Well, I will just say my score prediction here, just based on the fact that, I'm just going to say, and it will be different by Thursday because as we build up, I'll get more optimistic. So I'm going 3-0 Everton as of right now, and by Thursday it'll be 6-0, and by Saturday morning it'll be 10-0. Guys, thank you ever so much as always. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to leave it there. I shall see you soon. Peace.